What's going on, everybody? My name is Just a Stutter, and welcome back to another Minecraft episode. So, last time we finished up pretty much just working on like these auto crafters right here. I was working on the design and everything for them mostly, and then got the sorting system in place, and I've kind of just been resource gathering since last night and stuff. I needed a bunch of redstone, I needed a bunch of just really random blocks. I needed like slimes and observers, so I just had to go get quartz and just a whole bunch of random things. So I think I now have all the supplies for the farm I want to build today, so I am going to go ahead and show you guys in just a minute. First thing I thought I would do though is go ahead and show you how the iron farm is doing. First on bone meal, we've gotten exactly 2 stacks of bone blocks. And then for iron, this is actually pretty impressive. So we've got 1 full double chest, and we're about to hit the halfway mark on a second, and that also includes an entire hopper. So it's like 54, 27, 70, it's at least like 80 stacks of iron. Multiply that by 9, that's at least, what's that, like 720 stacks of iron ingots? Yeah, that's this farm has produced a lot of iron so far, and I'm super happy with it. That being said, let's go ahead and move on. Oh, it's nighttime. Let's go ahead and find ourselves a bed before we get ourselves killed. Okay, now that it's a little bit safer, I cleared out some of those mobs. I still see a little creeper hanging out back there, but I didn't want to die during night. So next, I wanted to start working on the sand farm today. I've been working in creative. I figured out a whole design and everything for it. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of just show you guys exactly how this mechanic for renewable sand works. So of course, this is the carpet mod. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and set the default. We're going to go to renewable, and we're going to look for sand. I'm going to do renewable sand, and I'm going to set it to true. So now we have renewable sand enabled with the carpet mod. So how exactly do we renew sand? It's actually a pretty cool feature where if you get a piece of cobble, and then all you have to do is drop an anvil on it. And this will actually turn a piece of cobble into sand, allowing me to pretty much build a sand factory. There you go, saw it again. Literally all we have to do is just drop that guy a little ways and we're good to go. So how exactly are we going to automate this? I was playing around with a couple different things, and I came up with the design of pretty much just having to put a rail down, and then all we have to do from there, when we drop the anvil on both, okay, it needs a split space, but as you saw there, oh, now I'm out of cobble. Couple blocks here. There we go. So now if I try this, and they actually have a space to fall, they're both considered gravity blocks, so once they fall on this rail here, they'll actually both end up breaking. So that's pretty much just going to be the main concept of the farm, is that we are going to drop an anvil on top of cobble. The cobble and the sand will then fall on a rail, and then all we have to do is really collect it. And generating cobble is not very hard. I'm sure everyone at this point pretty much knows that lava and water can generate cobble. The trickiest part was with the new 1.17 update. If you actually put water on top, if lava touches the top of water, I believe, water touches the top of lava. That's what it is. It'll actually turn to stone now. So it won't turn to cobblestone unless you touch the lava from the side. So kind of a weird mechanic. It's really nice, actually. It's really cool to be able to have a stone generator and stuff like that now. But yeah, so we had to play around with that mechanic a little. But yeah, I came up with a pretty cool design, and then I'm going to pick a quick spot over here to build it. I might flatten some of this ground out just a little, and then I'm going to go ahead and just get to work on this thing. Okay guys, so I pretty much just finished up building up this guy. I went to make like a replay mod of it, but it didn't turn out too well. it was like a really slow build. It wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't very like exciting to watch. I was moving like side to side, so I was like had to move my camera all over, and it didn't quite work out on this one. But yeah, I got it all built up and everything, and the problem that I need now is that each of these droppers I have up here, dispensers actually, I need them filled with roughly 10 stacks of anvils each. So the reason I had to build that iron farm was because I need almost 80 stacks of anvils. 80 stacks. Oh, it's like an entire double chest. So I'm gonna go run over to the iron farm really quick and see if I can't craft up enough anvils to at least get the majority of this system started. Oh my lord, guys! I came into the Nether without my butter cap, and I straight away got attacked by some piglins. And then I'm trying to leave, and this dude's guarding my portal. He was literally just like right on the other side when I came through here. Oh my god. I don't know if that was a good or a bad idea. Hopefully he comes through with me. Please just go through. Oh man. That's... I don't like that. I don't like anything about what just happened in there. Let's go grab my buttercap so I can hopefully get back in there without completely dying. I think I'm going to go back through the portal with my helmet on just because it has blast protection on it, so if that creeper does blow me up immediately when I come through here, at least I have a chance to live. Like that. Yep. That is exactly why we did that. Oh, man. Thank God I always have my flint and steel on me. Luckily, attacking zombies doesn't set off zombie pigmen. Thanks, dude. I appreciate you not standing up for your other side. Okay. So now that I went and got some anvils actually crafted up, I'm gonna start showing you guys a little bit about how this whole contraption actually works. Don't know where that cup came from. So the first place I'm gonna start is pretty much these droppers or dispensers up here are completely full of anvils so that no other items can fit in here, and they're the only item that can actually be dispensed, you know? And then on the top, I have the hoppers, but I have them with anvils in them, and then netherrack is just kind of filters. That's just so that I don't need 4 more stacks of anvils per module, but it just saves a little space. So now how these get fed, I have a barrel here with about 1, 2, 3, 4, a little short of 5 stacks because I took 1 because I was missing a piece. But it's about to be night. Let's finish this one up quick. So when this hopper here loses about half of its items, there's an item filter right here, and it will actually start dispensing extra anvils into the system. This is in case while the system is running there's any anvil loss, or if any anvils break in the process of making sand, this will replenish those anvils. I'm not actually sure if that's a feature or not, but I do have a problem with like the beginning hoppers starving this last hopper, and this guy was actually running out and starting to fill up with sand, and that was a big problem. So this was my solution for that. I pretty much just made it so it backfeeds, so everyone else gets a chance to be fed with anvils first, and then this is the very last guy in the system. So this is the most important to be filled first, and that's why I went ahead and started with him. But yeah, as you can see, if I just go ahead and like take items out, it will just automatically start to replenish it. Now I did just run out of anvils in this system, but yeah, you know how that should all work. Let me go sleep really quick so that I don't die. Just let me sleep. God, they're not gonna stop. Okay, everyone needs to chill out for a minute. You little dudes need to stop coming after me. You are absolutely terrifying. 2 creepers over there. Hopefully this husk is too slow. Okay, whew. We at least got to sleep. Yeah, so now that we are down underneath where the item filter is, so the item filter was there, and it was filling this dispenser here with the anvils. And pretty much what this system should do is that when this observer sees the cobblestone break, it should pull the observer back there down, and that when that pulses, nothing gets triggered. But when the water and the lava touch right here, they should make a piece of cobble again, which should trigger the observer another time, pushing the observer back up, triggering that block, just triggering the dispenser on the other side. The dispenser will then dispense an anvil again, dropping the anvil on this cobblestone here and hopefully creating a perfect cycle. So let's go ahead and see if it works. Beautiful. And there we go. We now have auto-regenerating sand. Okay, so I'm standing back just a little ways just because that area is incredibly loud right now. But so, as you can see, the dispenser keeps dropping right on there, and when those guys fall, they fall right on to that, what is that? Minecart track. Minecart rail, like I was showing earlier. So those automatically break the sand and the anvil, and then both those go into another dispenser. Nah, that one's a dropper. So that goes into a dropper, and when that dropper sees that there's an item in it, the comparator triggers, lifting the piston up and having 2 observers face each other, which should then spit all the items out of the system. The items then get stuck. Run over here really quick. They should get shot over each time. There's a single little piece of ice down there, and it kind of just helps all the items slide along, but all the items then get stuck in this water stream, go up and around, come back up to the top. Sorry, I have to turn that off for a minute. So they come back up to the top. All the items here get pushed up to the top, at which point all the anvils will be taken out. So the anvils will be taken out of the system, and pretty much all that is ever left is just the sand. So really, I don't even need these other 3 sorters here. I just do it in case I get things like glass or something inside my system, you know? But yeah, so we already have one guy fully operational creating sand. The next thing we need to do is just get another one of these guys triggering. So hopefully when I break this smooth stone block this time, it should replicate kind of cobble breaking. It should pull this guy down, and it should start the system going on this side. So let's see if this one works too. Not perfect. And I messed it up again. Oh well. Nice. So, since I only had enough dispensers for the 2 right now, I only have the 2 hooked up. But yeah, let me show you a couple more of the logic that is inside this system. So each of these guys are like completely independent, so they don't actually need any external source to run them. But so this rail right here is pretty much, let me go and toggle this farm. Let's see if we can get it to turn off really quick. So I have the entire farm hooked up to this last chest right here, and if this last chest completely fills up, it would turn on this comparator. This comparator would light up this line, sending a single pulse across the top here, and on each of these tops there is a piston that can get 1-ticked, and it will grab the slime block, taking out the blocks between the dispenser and the observers, and this will stop the observer from being able to trigger the dispenser. And this is how we actually go about locking the system. So ideally, if I go ahead and remove this block for a moment, that now should lock the entire system. So as you can see, as I was saying, that should pull the slime block up, and that's exactly what it did. So when I sent that pulse across, everything here just got locked up. Now to go along with that, there's another series on the bottom, and this guy is now off, so he's in an off state. Let's see if I can get a little better view of him. So pretty much there's just an observer down here, and if he fires right now when he gets pulsed, nothing will happen down there, but when he comes back up, he'll pulse this line, sending a signal, one pulse, all the way around. So we only ever want this one pulse when the system turns on. So right now it's in the off state, even though for whatever reason it's still producing over there. I need to go figure out what happened there. But it should go into an off state. And pretty much this is just how we end up turning everything back on. So all the observers should always end up facing upwards whenever they stop. And when we put the lock back inside, it's not going to trigger the observer. So we need some way to trigger all the observers at least one time to get the system to restart itself. So let's go look what's going on the other side really quick, and maybe we can get a better look at how all this works together. So it looks like somehow inside here, that one lock just got desynced from the other ones. So you can see it's down in a downward position. This guy's now in an upward position. So now if I go ahead and just quickly trigger this guy once, you can see that lock pulls up. And then it's going to be risky. Let's go ahead and fall back down here. And now you can see that the cobble was generated. The dispensers are in the upward position, which is what we want. And we can tell that our locks are now also in an upward position. So they are currently locked. So like I was saying, if we go ahead and tick to those guys, they would then be in a position like I was showing you earlier, where there's a block back here. And when this observer ticks, he's actually able to hit the dispenser. But right now, if this observer ticked, it would not actually touch this dispenser, and that is how the entire system locked. But that's why we send a pulse all the way around, we put the locks back, and then after the locks are back, we send another pulse all the way around, and that will actually activate all the system. So let's see if we can do that really quick. Let's find a way out of here. Okay, this is going to be way too quick to see, but we might be able to see the two different pulses go when I put this track back. We might be able to see from over here, but yeah, so there you can see that both those pulsed, put the locks back in, and it didn't send the second pulse around. At least not far enough. You're facing the wrong direction, my guy. Oop. There we go. So now, that should, in theory, have sent signal right here, and when that guy should have gone, should have returned back on the system, and there you can see. So the locks went back in place, the pulse went around, and the system ran again. And now, honestly, if I do that, it really shouldn't have any consequences for the system. Nice. So yeah, fully running. I only have the 2 right now. I only have 2 out of 8 modules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, 8 modules. So it's only 2 out of 8 modules running at the moment, but you can see it's already spitting out a pretty good amount of sand. It's a quarter of what it should be, so even this right here should be producing about 3,000 sand an hour. And if we go ahead and check up in these chests, you can see just in this little bit of time I've been talking to you guys, that's really all this has been running. We almost have an entire row of sand already. So that is going to be super helpful. I've been wanting to build this farm for a couple days now, and I am super glad it's all done. So I hopped in Spectator, and I just want to give you the quick recap of how this entire farm works. So, chest here, we'll start at the very beginning. Chest here, this is the initial on-off switch for the entire farm. So when this goes, it sends a single, it turns on or off. This observer will see it sending 1 tick pulse, either sending the observer down here, turning the system off, or when the system turns back on, it will bring the observer back on, up, turning it on. Now, when we send any pulse down this, it will either send this lock into an up state or a down state. So when that 1 pulse comes, the first one signifying that it's full with that line being on, it will pull the locks up. And then when the line comes back on, it will send another pulse through, and it will put the locks back in place. And on every other one, that's when this observer gets ticked. So pretty much all that happens then is everything just goes around. So top observers are the locks. Second observers are pretty much just like a kickstart. So these observers just need to be triggered once just so they drop an anvil. And then once the anvil's dropped, these little circuits are completely self-sufficient. So now looking at one from the side, you can see that each time that guy comes down, he gets triggered, but he doesn't do anything. But when he gets pushed up, it does go ahead and it will trigger the dispenser. The dispenser drops the block and hits the cobble. The cobble turns to sand, and when the observer sees the cobble turn to sand, that's what pulls the observer down, the backside observer back there. And then when the lava and the cobble touch, that's when the observer sends another pulse, sending the observer back up. And this observer only triggers this dispenser every other tick that this fires. So this fires twice, and that fires this one single time. And that's pretty much a summary of how all the redstone works. And then after that, it all just gets pushed up into a collection system. This collection system is nothing more than kind of just an item filter, almost. And the item filter just kind of separates the anvils from the sand. We then have another item filter here, which collects any extra anvils. And if this back hopper gets starved from items, it will then pull this observer back, looking at this observer here, starting just a stream of anvils coming out of this dropper here. So this dropper will then start shooting additional anvils into the system, and that is what pretty much will refuel the entire system with anvils and gives it a complete closed circuit. So this is completely self-functional. Once I go ahead and get enough anvils running, this should completely run itself until it's out of sand. And then once I take the sand out of the system, if I take it out of the last chest, that will signify that the farm needs to start creating more sand again, and it will turn itself back on, and it will start running again. So that's how it is an entire closed loop, completely self-functional farm. Only thing it really needs is me stocking it up with anvils every now and again. And once I get a double chest of anvils inside of here, I should really never have to do that again. But that is just a quick explanation of how this entire farm works. I guess the only weird thing I'll show you is inside this barrel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, roughly 5 stacks of items inside here is just enough so that this guy will get triggered when it needs it. Other than that, yeah, this is a sand farm. This is how it all works, and I can't wait to have enough anvils to actually get this thing fully up and running. Okay, well, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's episode. It was a little more on the technical side, so it might have just been a bunch of gibberish for some of you out there, especially if you don't know anything about redstone. But if there are people out there that are pretty into redstone like me, and you want to just make your own custom things, I hope some of my explanations in here just helped give you a couple ideas of how you can go about building things yourself. Because this is completely my own design. I came up with this whole thing in about a night. And yeah, this is like my favorite thing to do in Minecraft. I love building these weird contraptions, and I love that the ability of the carpet mod gives me the opportunity to pretty much just make things that I've never seen inside Minecraft before. Like, how many of you have ever seen a fully functional, self-regenerating sand farm? Self-regenerating? I don't know if that's really the right word. But just like a fully functional sand farm that just completely runs itself. They're not out there. You're not going to find any tutorials. You're going to make it. Hey, this is the tutorial. So that being said, I am going to go ahead and call the episode here. I really just wanted to get this sand farm and everything built up. But hopefully we'll be able to get some more anvils in here. And tomorrow, I think we're going to go ahead and start work on a honey farm. So that being said, I hope you guys all have a great night or day, whatever sleep cycle you're on, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.